Well, let me start by just thanking the Knights of Columbus for spoiling my family rotten over the past couple days. I would be remiss if I did not wish my wife a happy birthday and 20th anniversary at the same time. Yes, let me repeat that. On the same day. Brilliant. Huh? All right. Now, of note, sadly, we are missing two of our most active, loud, and hyper members of our family, my 2-year-old daughter, Faith, and nearly 1-year-old son, Xavier. When Bishop Peter Byrne and my Monsignor, Jim Sullivan, recently went on a car trip with my family to a Knights of Columbus event, although they were gracious and polite, after dealing with us in a car for a while, you can see it in their eyes. Boy, you guys really earned this Family of the Year business. The Family of the Year. We are deeply honored by this gift and the opportunity to share our lives with you. But it does not really tell you who we are. We are you. A family getting home from Sam's Club after performing our bi-weekly shopping trip with 2 pallets of food, arriving home late for dinner, kids bickering and arguing about what foodstuffs they need to carry in, babies poopy and hungry, my wife trying to organize, shouting at us, all of us ADD members of the family, to at least focus on something for 5 minutes. And then the phone rings. Hi, this is Scott from National Headquarters of Knights of Columbus. Congratulations on being Family of the Year. I looked at the chaos unfolding before me as I was being chased by a 2-year-old around the house screaming. I finally had to go and lock myself onto the front porch so we can continue the conversation. And as I was looking at the chaos happening around me and looking at the phone incredulously, I finally said, "Are you guys out of your minds?" Well, here we are. To get serious for a few minutes, it wasn't even 10 days ago that I was going to one of our Camp Veritas retreats, and there was a car that was wrapped around a tree, and I was first on the scene. I don't believe in accidents. And I'd ask myself, God, why do you have me here right now? Now, I'm in medicine, facial plastics. I'm not exactly a first responder, but I was there for a reason. And as I got to the car, there was a woman in the front seat dying. She's in her last breaths. And as first responders got there, and she was unconscious, she's a 43-year-old woman. She had not a nickel to her name, but she was there in those last breaths. And as I was there with first responders getting her out, starting CPR, I baptized her with what I got, a little saliva on her forehead, and I can hear the firemen and policemen praying. Now, looking around, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if these guys were in their Knights of Columbus councils. That's what makes up a bulk of our councils in our area. A lot of those first responder type heroes. But as I walked away from this accident, I had to stop and say, okay, why? And I believe it was to refocus me on what's important. This brings me to my point. There is only one commodity in the universe. It's the soul. That is the only thing that matters. The Knights of Columbus understand that if what we're doing does not end up with souls, whether it's coat drives, food pantries, Special Olympics, helping at Catholic schools, Catholic hospitals, then what are we doing? The point of our charity is to provide moments that we can bring souls to introduction to Jesus Christ. Souls are the scorecard, gentlemen. It's the only scorecard. Souls active in the sacramental life of our church. Souls living in the presence of God right here, right now. The Knights of Columbus understand this. If you want to get to know my family, this battle for souls is not just what we do, it is to a great extent who we are. Now, gentlemen, we're under complete bombardment from all sources. The media, public schools, the religion of self, the me generation of doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, because I want to do it. with no other authority than myself, in a world of relativism, in a world of pride. Satan has come to fight, and he's been given the Lord's permission. Who will stand against him? There has been an organization that has stood against the religion of self from the beginning of this age. It's the Knights of Columbus. This is not the first time in history that the church has suffered from adversity. In every time, in every struggle, the Lord, our Master, has raised heroes. And behold, you are here right now, the front line in the war of the soul, led by the Pope, the cardinals, bishops, and priests. These warriors in Christ for souls are here right now, us gross bunch of misfits, designed as he wills to be his hands, feet, and voice. Who am I? Who am I that he should use me in any way? Gentlemen, I can most definitely speak for myself. My weaknesses only speaks to his strength. Why? Why has he chosen us? Who knows? Only he knows why he picked us at this time. But nevertheless, he has chosen each of us by name to stand up, to be the light in this time of darkness. Now, every war needs a boot camp for its soldiers. One of the boot camps is Camp Veritas, a week-long experience, a pilgrimage, where teens 12 to 18 years of age put down their lives for just a moment and spend a week in faith, immersed in our faith, in the presence of the Eucharist, the Master himself, while being taught by the best of our faith. Now, daily, the kids pray the rosary, go to Mass, have adoration and catechesis, while activities intermix playing dodgeball, go-karts, laser tag with rope courses, swimming at pools and lakes. But here's the trick. The teens do not feel like they're in class, learning about Jesus Christ as if he's Abraham Lincoln. No. They spend a week with him. The teens are taught in an environment without the noise of electronic devices by priests and religious, where the teens can imagine themselves becoming one. It is one thing to superficially know one's priests at their home parish, but it's another thing entirely to be out there on a football field with them, to have dinner with them, to know these priests as the saints that they are. It is likewise with those Knights of Columbus who are there in person. There's no better advertisement or potential farm system for the Knights of Columbus than Camp Veritas. Who are our future knights? Where will we find them? Now, over the past 10 years, the Lord, while sending us the Lady, has grown this boot camp of the soul, Camp Veritas, from 55 teens the first year to 1,700 teens this summer, with 500 volunteer staff over 5 locations. There are now 10 3-day-long regional follow-up retreats and fearless retreats, keeping these souls engaged with the Eucharist throughout the entire year. If this paradigm of immersion with the Eucharist is effective in supplementing confirmation classes in New York, Maryland, Florida, and Ireland, providing an environment where exposure to the priests and religious life, while also offering exposure to groups like the Knights of Columbus, then why would this same paradigm not work in Denver, Texas, LA, or Chicago? The battle for souls is intensifying, and we are just beginning. Now, how does this miracle happen? It happens with the yes of many people, the yes of those in the Knights of Columbus. You are the presence I encounter at Veritas, to be there in person to serve, both on the front line and behind the scenes. You are the fathers so many of these kids have never had, the heroes of our time, not dancing in the front of an end zone saying, "Look at me." No. You pray in the darkness of the night, in adoration for these souls by name. When there's no one else to pray for them. You are there not only sponsoring meals and fearless ministries, but you're there in person to serve them yourself. You are there without thanks, knowing that we're all cogs in a simple wheel of the Master, answering moment by moment, yes or no. Years ago, staggering out of one of the camps with one of the directors who grew up at camp, then became a seminarian, is now a director at camp. It was his 4th camp, my 4th camp, and I'm telling you, it takes the life out of you. And as we were there at the car, exhausted as all get out, I said, Matt, thanks for helping me out this summer. And he goes, Ryan, not for nothing. I'm not doing this for you. Now, how many I've witnessed coming forth with the same response. And I've noticed this within the Knights of Columbus numerous times, whether it's the quiet scholarships provided by the Knights to support their teens of their parish to attend Veritas, or fearless retreats, or whether it's to serve the parish itself in food drives, crisis pregnancy centers, those who are persecuted for the faith. You and your wives are there. You show up. In the generation of we don't have time, you make the time to be there. You are the hands of our church. Now, Brother Knights, the church has been on the defensive too long. We are a missionary church. We have the truth. We are in reality. It should not be a hard sell. We should be preaching this truth boldly and confidently without apology. Veritas is one of 1,000 ways the Lord is working today. We need to bring eternal souls to Christ right now, not in some ethereal way, but directly. He is here in the Eucharist. He's never left. The very point of our existence, if we believe in the Eucharist, is to bring souls to that reality. And only then are those souls uniquely and forever Catholic. My question to you is, what now? 8 years ago, I met Cardinal Dolan for the first time at Camp Veritas in the Catskills of New York. I spoke to him about Camp Veritas, the boot camp for the soul, that would have eternal souls placed in front of the Eucharist and amongst our priests and religious for a week and allow the Lord himself to minister to the youth. I told him about the vision the Lord has shared with me about tens of thousands of souls, beyond count, on their knees before the Eucharist in adoration, everywhere. 8 years ago, unlike so many who would laugh at me or tell me it's impossible, the Cardinal didn't laugh. Rather, he took in my zeal, and he asked quizzically, well, how far are you willing to go? And I answered, how much is a soul worth? And it's been my mantra ever since. How much is a soul worth? Satan has come to fight for the only commodity in the universe that matters. Are you willing to give everything to stand against him? You have been called by name, as weak as we all are, as unqualified as old or young or any excuse we can muster. We've been called to destroy all petty differences and to unify right now. Thank you for being the heroes of this time. Thank you for answering the call in this battle for souls. After all, how much of this is a soul worth? Thank you for bearing the sword of love through service while carrying the shield of truth. And when the dust settles and we stand before the Almighty Master, our Lord, our Father, our King, and our love, we will hear the words eternal and forever. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Welcome home. Thank you.